Hi, Capricorn. Welcome in. Welcome to November. I hope you're doing great. Doing the series of November readings this week. Just a little incentive for you. The video that gets the most likes of the 12 Zodiac readings is going to get a bonus reading. So if you like this content, smash that like button and let's get going. So welcome in. This is all about you, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus for November 2023. I might throw in a little astrology as we go. There's a lot going on. I'm going to make a special video for the November astrology, what to look for. But we'll see what comes out in the reading and we'll see where we go. A few announcements while I'm shuffling here. Some of you have asked about the tarot certification. We are starting that up again in the new year. So if you haven't taken my tarot course, that is a prerequisite. There's a link in the description box. And I believe there's also a link to the bundle if you want to jump on to that early and get yourself using and going forward, making the video, watching the video. That's what it is, watching the video. All right, so hopefully I'll see you in there. Wisdom of the Tarot and the Tarot certification in the beginning of the year. The folks who've gone through the certification have been certified, who wanted to be on the website, they are delivering private readings. So if you want to get a private reading, there's also a link to that in the description box below. All right, check out Capricorn. What is the energy for you this November? Journey by moonlight. Believe in magic. Navigating by the stars. And in the flow, everything is smooth sailing. Wow, that's beautiful. It has a little magical quality to it. I'm definitely seeing that. Some of you are going to feel, I don't know, like relief. I think relief. I mean, we have Pluto going direct, or Pluto has been direct since October 10th in your sign of Capricorn. And by the beginning of next year, at the end of January, Pluto is going to be leaving Capricorn altogether. So there may be a feeling during this last couple months of the year of like, I've got to get something solid. I've got to, I've been trying to get this together for a while and it's not come together. So I'm going to force it. Be careful of anything that requires your force. Actually, nothing requires your force. Okay. So don't force anything. Don't force a relationship to get more serious. Don't force trying to get a raise by the end of the month or the end of the year if you haven't really put in the time and effort up until now. Momentum is going to be a big thing, all right? The big mo, right? Momentum is a big thing. So if you haven't really been putting in the time and effort, if you kind of took the summer off, but you really want some more money for the holidays or anything, I think the boss is going to see right through that. So just be mindful of that. And also the same thing, like if you have your own business, I don't think it's a time really to force any new projects. The end of Capricorn season, or the end of Capricorn, not season, the end of Capricorn energy, 27, 28, 29 degrees, is about wrapping things up and keeping the things that have good structure, moving on from things that are too calcified or have too much structure, right? You know that, Capricorn, you're really good at this. So don't force anything to try to, make it under the wire before we get into the new year, because Capricorn energy is about long-term energy. Those of you who, Saturn is about time. So, and any of you who are putting in place some kind of long-term solution to something or long-term relationship, like getting things settled, that's fine. You're not forcing anything. But don't force anything before Pluto goes into Aquarius, just in order to have a hold on it, because Aquarius will just blow that away. Aquarius will be like, yeah, that's not serious. That's not real. Okay. Anything that's real that has stuck through this time since 2008 will stick around. Okay. In a good way, like good relationships, good boundaries, good habits, good lessons learned, things like that. Those will continue to serve you. All right. So there's the moon. We have, before we get to November, we have an October 28th full moon in Taurus. Now, this is really going to be some powerful closing the door energy. So whatever's been going on, it's almost like the last part of this year, right? We're closing the door on a chapter that's been going on for about a year or two, Okay, so back to 2020, December of 2020, we're kind of closing the door on a cycle there. And as, like I said, as Pluto moves into Aquarius next year, we're closing the door on a cycle that started in 2008. So this is why I kind of am like, sassy pants about journaling, because if you can go back and look and see what was going on 2 years ago, there's some kind of cycle closing there. Go back and look at what was going on in 2008. I journal all the time, but I don't need a journal to tell me that in 2008, the banks fell off a cliff. I got laid off. I got divorced all within 3 months. I sold my house. It was like, woo, everything was kind of, woof, like sucked out of my life. But there was a lot of space to create something new. I learned a lot of big lessons before I even put in place something like this, which is a super positive part of my life, this channel, and meeting my tribe. So this full moon coming up, there is going to be sort of a closure energy to it. It is about our relationship to power and authority. And have we, really stepped up our own sovereignty? Have we created power in our own lives? We're the power and the kind of authority in our own lives, or are we still kind of living under someone else's rule? And if we're living under someone else's rule, I urge you not to, again, force anything, but recognition of it is good enough. Because when we get to Pluto going through Aquarius, there is going to be this sense of like new solutions and new ideas. So maybe it hasn't occurred to you, like the new way of doing things, or how do I get out from under this tyranny or something like that. This last, couple months, I know this is a November reading, but we're really starting it in earnest with this full moon closing the door, because it's an eclipse. Lunar eclipse is activating the energy of closures and releases and letting go of structures, relationships, careers, jobs, friendships, that marriages that have, kind of closed out their time. Okay, some of you might be hanging on to something that needed to be closed out a while ago, but this is a good time to move with that. The Queen of Swords here, the Seven of Wands, the King of Swords, that's Aquarian energy. King and Queen of Swords here also have Cancer energy. The Six of Wands, overcoming things. The Three of Pentacles, I like this. The Ten of Cups, there's the closure energy in the world. So right now, what might be happening is you stand up and have some boundaries about something that maybe you haven't been doing a good job of holding on to for a long time. Maybe you haven't been doing a good job in terms of your work at like being the authority, okay, or being a good leader, being someone who has vision for the future. This is very much about vision for the future. Maybe you haven't been doing that. It's really time to do that now. So the Six of Wands, Three of Pentacles, putting in place partnerships that will stand the test of time. Okay, Saturn is ruling your sign of Capricorn, and with that Pluto energy being in your sign, you're really going to feel this egress into Aquarius. It's going to be massively different. And I do feel like some of you are going to be hanging on to some happiness that you've created. Maybe you have some new friend circles, or maybe you've bought a house in a new neighborhood or moved somewhere or whatever, and you've started to really create a life. I feel like that's a thing that's going to go the long term here. I feel like anything that doesn't have good boundaries, anything that doesn't have good ways of communication or good ways of kind of supporting your long-term vision for things, I think may go. Some of you may be releasing a relationship that's turned kind of into a brother-sister thing or sister-sister thing or whatever, that it's not it's like there's not a lot of in love anymore, but there also isn't a lot of enduring love. Those of you who have worked on marriages and have found a new sense of togetherness, I feel like those will stay. The ones that haven't worked on it, I feel like those are the things that are going to crumble. Okay. So Capricorn, so I'm going to lay out a love reading, a career and money reading, and then a wild card reading over here. These are the cards that are underneath that you may not see coming. King and Queen of Swords is a This is not a heart to heart conversation. This is like a mind to mind conversation or a boundary to boundary conversation. Some of you are going to be having those conversations. Some of you are also going to be dealing with that in your work. If you have put in the time and effort to create something, I feel like you're rewarded for that. If you have not, if you have been like kind of tagging along, letting other people do it, I feel like that almost might go away. Okay, so Tower. Straight to double jeopardy. All right, King of Wands, Queen of Pentacles, Four of Pentacles, Six of Pentacles, excuse me, Emperor, and the outcome is the Knight of Pentacles. So a lot of pentacles for a love reading, I will tell you that. I do see Virgo, Aries, Leo, Taurus. All right, Capricorn, there's a lot of something. I feel like some of you are ending long-term relationships that have gone in different directions. The two people are just sort of going in different directions. This could also be a friendship, but this is a relationship that has kind of stagnated. The Four of Pentacles here and the Six of Pentacles. It's like you'll give the other person what they need to move on, or they're going to give you what you need to move on, but let's just call it quits. Okay, let's just keep going. Let's look at the career and money. I'll lay it all out and then I'll go through them one by one for you. Knight of Cups, Chariot, Six of Cups, Hierophant, Eight of Swords, Ace of Swords, Five of Swords. All right, what do you notice? I'm seeing this sword stuff at the end here. That makes me think of like second guessing yourself or something like that. Lots of cups in the career and love reading, and lots of pentacles or career and job reading or money reading, and lots of pentacles in the love reading. The pentacles in the love reading are about what do you want to invest your time into? What kind of relationship do you want to invest your time into? And the cups cards over here are about like, are you doing something that you loved? Are you really activating your own inspiration and really feeling like you're moving forward with something? The opportunity is to have a little nostalgia here about your career. It's sort of like maybe some of you are retiring or some of you are looking back on your career and going, yes, I feel like I've come full circle with something now that we're closing out this Pluto energy in your sign. And there's a new commitment that needs to be made. I almost feel like you might not quite be there yet in terms of the next thing. I feel like you might have some fear around shifting careers. So what is the wild card here? Ace of Cups, Ace of Pentacles. I was going to say a lot of aces here. I'm just looking at it. I was like, no, there's not a lot of aces. There's one ace. Now there's three. So 3 of 4. So Seven of Cups, Ace of Pentacles. This is really about what do you want to invest your time into? The Eight of Wands, the Five of Cups, and the Six of Swords. Some of you are going to be moving on from a situation that all of a sudden blows up. I feel like some of you in a relationship have either thought it was so calcified, stagnant, that it wasn't going to go anywhere. You might feel like that's like a good thing, but it's not a good thing. It's like things were too stagnant and stuck. You might say, well, I think that means that they're stable, right? And I just am getting the sense of like, it was getting very stagnant and stuck behind your back. Like you might have been looking to the future, doing other things, not paying attention. Four of Pentacles and the Six of Pentacles here. This is like the split up of the 10 of Pentacles. And the 10 of Pentacles is about longevity. And we are talking about Capricorn energy for you, for sure, but we're also talking about Pluto and Capricorn. And there's a lot of splitting up energy as it relates to this full moon in Taurus, this lunar eclipse that we're having. And that like, if the structure hasn't been put in place that can stand a tower or a closing of a door or I'm going in a different direction or something like that, there's too much independence here. Okay, Capricorn, there's like the other person may be having a completely separate life from you, and you guys have kind of settled into that, but haven't really done the touchstone stuff, that haven't really done the thing about coming back together and making sure we're on the same page or going in the same direction. I feel like some of you really get alarmed by this and start really putting in a lot of effort. But like I'm saying to you, if there's been a lot of things that have been neglected, just be ready for this to be a really heavy moment of reckoning, okay, of relationship reckoning. I am seeing the Ace of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles here. So there is this wild card reading, is that there is options. This is like a wake up call. Okay. This is a wake up call for a relationship that has already been in existence. Now, if you are single, there says to me that you might be kind of turning your back on relationships altogether, or you might be saying they're too much work or whatever. But I do feel like suddenly there could be an option for a relationship, a long term relationship, and you might be caught off guard by that. Um, you might feel like you're not, like, is my money up to snuff? Is my house in good shape? Can I sell it? Or, so, like complete shift of your mindset. So some of you that have a relationship that isn't going to sustain or last through this last blast of Capricorn or Pluto and Capricorn energy, get ready, that you got to either like double down on, I'm going to put the effort in, or I'm going to release it and let it go. For those of you without relationships right now, some of you are going to need to kind of maybe scramble a little bit to get yourself ready, because this person comes in all of a sudden and you're like, oh my gosh, like all of a sudden this is a life partner, and I haven't, taken care of anything in my house for a long time. There's just a lot to do, okay, to make you kind of camera ready for this person. And I do mean that in a authentic way, that how you do one thing, how you do little things, is how you do everything. And I feel like the energy of Pluto and Capricorn kind of highlights that for us, that if we're not good at doing the dishes and we do them once a week, then there's consequences to that, because the other days of the week, there's a bunch of dishes always around, right? And this other person, if they're a Virgo or a Taurus, I doubt, or an Aries even, I doubt that that's cool with them, right? Like, and so there might need to be some kind of like cleaning up your act, okay? Because love could show up very suddenly. In terms of your work here, I feel like you might have kind of knuckled under to the man a little too much, or like thought it was a good thing to be in a very stable situation. I almost feel like you get some new ideas coming in. It's really kind of nice. Some new ideas, some new thinking, some new ways, some aha moments. And I just don't know. I think you might be breaking out of a box that you've been in for a long time. It's felt kind of good and stable. All right. Felt kind of good. But this is almost like the Six of Cups here is almost like remembering what you wanted to do when you were a kid and getting a chance to do it. Okay. So if you, when you were, what did you want to be? I think I was going from gymnast and ballerina to weather girl. I wanted to be a weather girl, and I turned out to be a TV producer. So, weather girl adjacent. But like, I never really was able to make that turn. I just didn't have the self-confidence at the time. So it's possible that something that you really have wanted to do is an option right now, but you're going to have to fight this need to be safe, or fight this need to be, kind of in a very traditional place. I think the new thing is not traditional, and I want to find out what this Five of Wands is. At any rate, I do feel like there's a lot of good stuff coming in. The Ace of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Swords. I think it's almost like the world is your oyster. But let's clarify these two cards, because this is bothering me and this is bothering me. In the relationship part here, this Knight of Pentacles. Now, could be a Virgo, but let's see. Queen of Cups, Justice, King of Pentacles. Look at that. Okie dokie. Page of Swords. Okay. So it's almost like, for those of you who have a relationship, it's almost like who you are needs to change in this new chapter, and that's going to require some work. So the Queen of Pentacles may need to become the Queen of Cups, needs to be not so focused on where the money is, or how are we going to pay the mortgage, or whatever, like that kind of thing, and like you got to do it, or you got to get out there and work for it, or something like that, into a more nurturing figure of the Queen of Cups. The King of Wands, fiery, entrepreneurial, may be shifting into something that's more stable. Okay, so if this is in the relationship, there may need to be some role changing. All right, that might be asked of you in this coming time, in this November time. Why is the Five of Swords in our career spot here? Ten of Wands. Oh, Star, Lovers, Ten of Swords. Okay, this is like something that I'm not going to do anymore. Hell to the no. I am not going to do this anymore. I am not going to be the one who does everything for everybody else. So if you are moving on to a new kind of career, you're going to need to be very watchful of people who want to keep you in spaces that you don't want to be in. So pay attention to that, Capricorn, and really choosing to put an end to anything that is confining. Right? We have Pluto. When Pluto moves into Aquarius, that's about invention. It's about like breaking through, of the boxes and stuff. And I just feel like this is a very big shift in your mindset about your career, that if you have very little structure right now, you might want a lot more. And if you have a lot of structure right now, you might not want any. Okay. So it's whatever it is, it's kind of flipping things on its head. And it all comes from like your inner child of like what it is you wanted to accomplish in your life. Like maybe you're going through your second Saturn return and you're kind of like, I'm kind of on the back nine here, and I might be able to do something at the last, 8 or 10 years of my career life that I wasn't able to do before now. That's kind of interesting. You also might be thinking that something you did was a little too risky, something wasn't risky enough, right? Whatever it is, like those polar opposites of things are coming together in a way that you're being asked to balance them. So we have the too much structure, too much corporate, not enough structure, too much free time, or not enough entrepreneur, or too much entrepreneurial kind of zing. And, needing a little bit of both of these things, needing a little bit more structure and a little bit more entrepreneurial zing. So that's coming through here. I do feel like this is going to be a time, this wild card reading with the Ace of Cups, Ace of Pentacles, Seven of Cups, the Five of Cups. I do think some things are going to be left behind, but it is up to you. I know Tower's here. I get it. But this does feel a little bit like an aha moment to me, like a light bulb goes on. You are, I can make changes. I don't have to stay in something that I have created all this time. I could close the door on things, or I could open up a new door in the new year. All right, so let's keep going. I'm going to pull cards for each zodiac sign so you can see who you're dealing with. I'll let you know what's going on with them. We'll talk some timing here about when this might change. I feel like it's imminent with the Tower, but we'll talk more about this, the career stuff over here. I'm not seeing any pentacle issues with the career stuff, and in fact the Ace of Pentacles, so there may be a real growth spurt coming in your career. All right, link is below, Capricorn, if you want to continue with me. I'll see you over there. All right, I hope you enjoyed that video. If it was helpful to you, please consider liking this video and sharing it with anybody who might have a need for similar kind of information. And if you like this video, check out these videos.